Yeah, they got me some boxes. It's Halloween. I got orange and gold. Whatever. So, this one I know is a knife that I'm super excited about. I got no idea what's inside this box. It might not be knives. If it's not, I'll probably just cut it because it's not really going to be super appropriate for this. But, yeah, it's from somewhere that I don't necessarily recognize. But, alrighty, let's go ahead and pop this open. I suppose I'll use my Kaiser Friday Grazioso in aluminum and brass with M390. Still think it's a little strange that this thing here used M390 instead of 20 CV that they've done with quite a few of their knives. But alrighty. Here we are. We got a TwoSun. This is the 142 they have labeled here. I was actually surprised at how fast White Mountain Knives actually got these in. I saw them posted up by Tangley over on Amazon, and I wanted to wait and see if White Mountain Knives would get them in, and got them in a lot faster than a lot of the other ones. This is a Mazwan Mokhtar design. Let's go ahead and kick that guy open. Yeah, we got this guy. We got a saber grind going on here. Fairly thick blade stock, and it's kind of TwoSun's MO in general. This is a titanium integral. So, another one. This one looks to be mostly like a titanium integral subframe lock, as in it's got a carbon fiber inlay bolster and some micarta, and good. It's using the canvas micarta rather than the kind of jank stuff that they've used in the past. This thing ain't cheap. I'm just gonna go out there and say that it is for an integral for sure. But yeah, it's still before you factor in a discount code that you can end up using, this is $250. Yes, it is an M390 blade, and it is an integral, so I definitely think it's worth that. But as far as TwoSuns go, this is fairly expensive. The other integral that I ended up getting a little while back, this one right here, what is this guy? TS389. I actually bought for more than I got this one for, but White Mountain Knives did get them in quite a bit cheaper. I think you get them for like 180 or something like that, 189 after the discount, whereas this one was like 225 after the discount. But still, this is a pretty interesting design here. It's the Mazwan, so we have kind of a ball like termination of the pocket clip there, but it does look to well, probably help if I close the blade. Is that going to be enough light? Sure. Yeah, it's not an exact ball. It does have a little bit of a flat section to it, so this should be a little bit easier to get in and out of the pocket. It is pretty much fully surrounded by micarta there. It does feel super, super nice and what's the word I'm trying to look for? Sorry about that. It does feel nice and sturdy. I'm not getting any wobble from that. I think part of that is probably down to how this thing is mounted. I'll take the clip off here to take a look, but it's also sitting in a recessed channel that we have going through all of it. The titanium, the carbon fiber, and the micarta here. So that kind of holds it in place as well. But sure, why not pull this little pocket clip off? See what we got going on under the hood. No, we don't have a secondary lashing point or anything like that. But like I said, I mean, this is really exaggerated, which It's certainly going to help a bit with the micarta there, but yeah, this just seems to be implemented just a little bit better than a lot of the other ones. Kind of surprised he didn't just bump it up all the way to the end there. It does have just that little tiny bit of micarta there on the end, but hey, that's what he was looking for. Also a little surprised that we don't have a front flipper sort of thing going on there. But that hole does end up working out quite nice. You can do the slow roll. Yeah, you can flick it out fairly easily as well. And of course the reverse flick. How about a little index finger love? Yep, we got that going on there. This choil is way back there, so I can kind of back off of it just a little bit, so I feel safer if I actually want to use that. That being said, though, if I do grip way up there, for me at least, the end of this pocket clip ends up making itself known in the hand. Whereas if I'm back, and I can still get a full 4-finger grip on that, not nearly as bothersome to me. So, interesting. Yeah, I got real excited with this thing here. Fairly lightweight. Does not, yeah, looking on the inside, unlike this guy here, this one doesn't have holes poked through the titanium on the sides. So the micarta and carbon fiber here are just straight inlays. So I guess maybe a little bit more structurally sound, but hey, I mean, both of them are super sweet. I really do like how far down the blade ends up coming on this when it's open. It gives you just a little bit more in the way of some knuckle clearance. Obviously, you're not going to be using this like a vegetable cleaver, because you can see I still have plenty of space underneath there if I'm trying to minimize my finger height as much as possible. But still, this thing is pretty darn sweet. And I guess kind of a larger integral knife than they've done in quite a while. The TS66, of course, is out there. Still, which one has eluded me thus far, but I really, really want it. But and I suppose the bowhead, that was another Mazwan Mokhtar design, more of a Warncliffe style sort of thing. Was a bit larger as well. Well, that's okay. This one does not use the back of the titanium there for the stop pin. Let's see. Doesn't look like, yeah. It's basically just got a pin in there for the stop pin. I kind of thought it might have been one going through the blade, but now that I think about it, that would be ridiculously difficult to actually get into an integral knife, and next to impossible to actually take apart. So that's definitely not the case. Still, yeah, that'll stop it closed. And yeah, and hits the back of the blade there as well. Okay. Either way, quite neat. This thing is not the daintiest of grinds out there. It's still nothing like an axe blade like some of their crazy old ones like the TS16 or something. It's still very, very serviceable, but yeah, I mean, when you're starting with that blade stock thickness that, I don't know, looks probably like 3.8 millimeters or so. Yeah. And with it having basically kind of a high saberish grind there to it. It is, I suppose, technically a drop point, but, not really by much. It's almost fully straight back. But, alrighty. Interesting little bugger. So I'm going to hold here for a second because if the thing in the other box here isn't knives, well, I can easily cut that. So, all right, well, let's go ahead and jump into whatever the hell this is here. Huh? It's a thin box, whatever it is. Let's see. Yeah, it is. Okay. That's kind of what I thought these were. So, yeah, I can go ahead and stop the filming. Well, here we are, kicking and screaming into November. It's the 1st at this particular point. I know that'll kind of date the video, but hey, I did mention yesterday that it was Halloween. And it seems kind of like it would be appropriate for me to use this thing since I opened it on the last one. It's TS142. This thing took a screaming edge. I did take me a little while to get out of there, or get that out of this blade, but yeah. All right, so I got one from White Mountain Knives, and then a couple that I have kind of taken some chances on here. So I will go ahead and open this little guy up first. All right, and I have a QSP. Now, a whole lot of these have been coming out. This is not a penguin in any way, shape, or form. So I know that the XL, expensive versions, and the minis have all come out rather recently. This is neither of those. Hey, here we are. Let's see, we got this. This is the Osprey XL. Yeah, we got some more stickers in here. Sure, we got a penguin and a wolf. Why not? All right, yeah, it's TwoSun's kind of micarta on there. Not exactly my absolute favorite. Their denim micarta is fantastic, which I wish they would offer just a little bit more knives in. But yeah, this reminds me of Civivi's kind of micarta and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, it's a button lock. And we got D2 steel going on here. And a wire clip. Yeah, nice and solid wire clip. That is fantastic. Sure, it's going to wobble a little bit from side to side. But this thing has a lot of structural rigidity going on with it. And the liners are not proud. I was kind of worried about that for a second when I first opened it up, but that is nice. So yeah, this is I think one of the first button lock knives I've seen from them. Like I did say earlier, I'm kind of looking to not pick up a whole lot more of these the button lock knives, at least with straight up steel liners or something like that. But hey, what can I say? By the time I'd already come to that conclusion, I'd paid for this, and I think one of these guys is as well. But yeah, this was a fairly affordable little guy here. I mean, a little bit more than you would get out of the standard penguin or parrot. So just a little bit more, but not by much. And yeah, this thing has a nice sized blade on it. Where is my ruler? Ah, it's under these things. All right. So, yeah, given the little slop there, we have just a little over 3.5 inches going on here. So, nice. Yep. QSP has always kind of been of the opinion that a plunge grind and a sharpening choil are kind of not important to an overall design. So that might get a little frustrating for some people. But this is a button lock. But yeah, it does look like the stop pen that we have, that we can see way up here, does actually interface there. So you can't even really effectively grind in another one without kind of messing that up a little bit. So that's a little unfortunate, but I suppose it's something you get with a little bit more budget-oriented knife. The action's pretty nice on it, though. It's got a fairly average grind on it, but at least the blade stock is relatively thin for it. So, all right, there's that one. These guys here. Lego. Not super easy to get these guys out of the boxes. But, well, there's the first one here. Sorry, I'm not actually doing this on camera, but these things still have my address on the outside of them. There we are. No. Let's go with this one first. Thanks for that. Rather generic looking little black box going on here. Looks like it comes in a nylon pouch. Alright. That you can actually wear on your belt. There we go. Yeah, it's another one of those Alvin things here. And this was a button lock. This thing is crazy inexpensive though, so let's go ahead and get rid of this box here. This thing is heavy duty. Alright. Yeah, we got a titanium milled pocket clip going on here. Super strong as far as that tension goes. And interesting that the G10 actually has a little bit of the spring pocket kind of milled into it. This does have D2 steel. Don't know if it actually mentions that somewhere on the blade or not, but that's what the listing at least says. And for the price, I can certainly understand that, because this thing goes for like $30. Yeah, not proud liners like that. Man, this thing, as far as a blade, has a lot in common. That same kind of bullshit kind of sharpening choil and plunge grind going on there. It is a bit larger than the QSP guy here, but this also has kind of a swedge going on the top, but thicker blade stock. This thing is a beeftacular blade. Let's see. Yeah, probably like 3.75 or so for it. The action on it right out of the box isn't super amazing. I'm sure I can fix that up. It is running on bearings. But feels like I can clean that up a little bit and tune it up. Yeah, this was kind of interesting. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the other one. This one should be a bit more fancy. Yep, another one of those. And this one's quite a bit smaller in comparison, but yeah, we got a little flipper tab here. We got titanium for the scales. I do believe this is also an anodized titanium little backspacer here. It's possible that it could be aluminum and they anodized it, but I don't really particularly think so. And we have basically a hole in the blade, but they've put some carbon fiber going on in there. And I mean, it's thin enough. I doubt that they double laminated something in there. And having a G10 in the middle. It's probably just carbon fiber by itself. But, yeah, really weird and different kind of look to it. It says supposedly M390 steel in it. Like the other Alvin that I took a look at in the M390 steel as well. I don't have it right in front of me, unfortunately. But Whatever steel it was, which I'm kind of mostly inclined to believe is M390, uh, really, really works well. It took an awful lot of effort to be able to get a nice edge on it, and then I did, and it's been holding it like crazy. The action on that one wasn't super great, but I think that had something to do with lock bar tension, whereas this one's a little bit different. This one's got a kind of a ball sort of thing going on the, well, it is titanium, but not a milled clip. It's just basically a straight line with some things in here. Generally not a huge fan of pocket clips that use a standoff. Some companies will do that. I think Micarta's done that on a couple of them. Regardless, it's not generally my favorite because it's just one extra area that is kind of easy to fail. But we got, basically your interpretation of whether that's a Warncliffe or an exaggerated reverse Tonto, clippity doodah, whatever you want in there. Kind of interesting. This is definitely a 3-finger knife for me, so a little bit smaller than the other one. This one has a model number on it, STV 391. I've seen another company have a model number of STV, and at least in my uneducated assumption, think that it has something to do with Sativian, however that person's name is pronounced. A lot of their stuff is produced by Jufele, which not exactly a fan of the fact that pretty much all of their knives, outside of the ones they make for Sativian, are blatant copies of other models. So that kind of sucks. But this one is definitely original. Maybe not the most ergonomic thing in the world. It's a little out there. Yeah, for a little 3-finger knife and nice and lightweight and everything like that, it's pretty good. If you do end up getting a Gorilla Grip on there, all of this feels apparent. So maybe not the best ergonomic thing for trying to do some harder use stuff, but for simple tasks and things like that, it's not bad at all. Their plunge grind is a little bit quicker, ends right before the edge there, so that's just a little bit different. Yeah, I mean overall it's not a bad blade at all. Very different and out there. Kind of it invokes in me a little bit of that Elijah Isham. Well, I'm making this to look like something, not necessarily something that's going to be incredibly useful. And I guess in that way they succeeded, but it's still pretty comfortable. We'll have to see how the blade edge ends up holding up on this one. But, how I was introduced to their M390 steel from that last titanium frame lock I looked at from them, seems to be pretty good. So, all right, well, yeah, we got a couple of Alvins here, and then this guy. What was this guy? The Osprey XL? Where's that QSP? Yeah. Well, I guess they just say L here, but it was listed as the Osprey XL on White Mountain Knives. And it looks like this variant might be an exclusive to them. Might not. I don't know exactly what that means for QSP, but still pretty interesting. Couple more fun knives. I'll have to see how the button locks on both of these guys end up holding up over time. Man, there's a lot of spring tension going on in the button lock on this one here. Feels a little funky when disengaging it. Not like it's going to stick, but just feels like there's maybe a lip or a burr going on either on the thing there or on the plunger or into the hole that it ends up going into. I don't know, but man, That is a lot bigger than I thought. All right, I've been talking way too dang long, so let's go ahead and cut this one here. I have more knives on the way, but as far as I'm aware, none of them are super, super close. I was sad that unless I'm absolutely wrong in the way I interpreted it, there's the Kaiser clutch. Well, it's a clutch lock thing. It's called the Escort. It's their second one since the Drop Bear came out. A little bit bigger than the Drop Bear, but there's a red Richlight variant of that. And I just saw that listed on White Mountain Knives, but it showed it as sold out. So I don't know if that was basically them putting up a, hey, it's coming in the next couple of days, because it's still listed as coming soon on Kaiser's website, but I want it. It's also much cheaper than the initial version of it, which was aluminum and 20 CV. So it should be interesting, and I do like the material. But, all right, yep, we'll catch you later. As always, I appreciate y'all for watching, and have yourself a wonderful rest of your day, yo. And subscribe. Well, shoot, I wanted to show this because it was probably, at least I found it fairly interesting here. The QSP guy here is using multi-row bearings. They are itty bitty little bearings, but they are multi-row. And the one that impressed me even more was this Alvin one, also used multi-row bearings. These look to be the same size as the ones that TwoSun ends up using in some of theirs, including the same kind of washer things without the braces or anything like that. But yeah, just wanted to kind of throw that out there. Both of these models, fairly inexpensive. I think this was 30, this was like 45. Both of these have multi-row bearings. So, and they're ceramic for both of them. This one I did open up, does have steel bearings in there, real tiny ones. But since it is M390 steel, which has a huge amount of corrosion resistance, I don't particularly care all that much. And the action seems to be good, especially after I've kind of tuned that up and everything. But, alrighty, cool. Back to where we were.